Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be looking at a special type of maths topic called range, which is all to do with data and statistics. That's why I've put a little bar chart or a bar graph in here, whatever you like to call it, because bar charts are a great way of representing data. So if we move on, what is range? Range is the difference between the highest and the lowest numbers in a set of data. So this might sound a little bit confusing at first. So let's take a look at this example that I've created. So Alicia conducts a survey for her homework. She asks some of her friends what their shoe size is. Here are the shoe sizes she recorded. We've got 3, 5, 4, 6, 2, and another 4. Now, I've just given you the numbers here, just plain old numbers, but in your exam, they won't give you the numbers. They'll probably give you it in a bar chart or a line graph or a pictogram. But since this is just the first example, I decided just to give you the numbers. So what is the range? That's our question here. So calculating. There's just one step when we're calculating the range of a set of numbers. So I've put the word problem here again. And first of all, the only step is calculate the difference between the highest and the lowest numbers, like I just said. So if that sounds really confusing, let's break it down. Let's just look at the highest and the lowest numbers. So what's the highest number? Well, the highest number is 6. Because 3, 5, 4, 2, and the other 4 are all lower than 6. It's quite simple. And then the lowest number is 2. So difference means subtract. So if you're asked to calculate the difference, all you have to do is subtract. So 6 subtract 2 is 4. So the range is 4. As simple as that. So let me just rub out all of this. So we're going to have a look at lots of word problems because range questions occur in lots of word problems to do with representing data and statistics. So here are some ways to represent data. So we have bar charts, pictograms, which are my favorite, line graphs, scatter graphs, tables, and tally marks. I think tally marks is probably the easiest, but that's just my opinion. So let's take a look at some word problems about representing data. So we're going to look at bar charts first. So I've created a bar chart here and it's all about the favorite color in Key Stage 2. So here are the colors. And then on our x-axis, remember this is the x-axis, the horizontal one, and then the y-axis is the vertical one. I've got pink, blue, yellow, green, orange, red, and some other colors that children might like. Then on our y-axis, I've got the number of votes. So we've got 10 votes, 20 votes, 30 votes, 40 votes, and 50 votes. So notice how they're all going up in tens. So what is the range? You don't need to look at all of the values. So what this means is, like I just said in the previous slide, range is all to do with the highest number and then the lowest number. So what is the highest bar here? Well, if we look, it's obviously red. And then what's the lowest bar? It's obviously the other bar. So we only need to look at these two bars, the red and then the other color, because range is only about the highest and the lowest numbers. We don't need to waste our time calculating what all of these bars represent in votes. We just need to look at these two. So let's have a look. How many people voted red? Well, if we go across, that's 50. And how many people voted another color? If we go across, that's 10. And remember, the range is all about the difference, and the difference means subtracting. So what's 50 subtract 10? That's right, it's 40. So quite a simple question here. This is probably the most simple question you'll be asked about range. And if we move on, I've got another bar chart question. And now this is about sports. So I've given you a bit more information here. Helix Leisure Centre conducted a survey asking all their members what their favourite sport is. So the total amount of people they asked was 125. So because this is quite a lengthy word problem, I'm going to underline the key points. So there's 125 members. That might come in handy. And hockey was the least popular sport and tennis was the most. So hockey was the least popular and tennis was the most. So I can see the sports here. I've got swimming, tennis, volleyball, hockey, and squash. So it's asking us to draw in the hockey bar because we can see here, no one's drawn in the hockey bar. So how will we work that out? Well, there was 125 members who completed the survey. So all we need to do is count up how many people chose swimming, tennis, volleyball, and squash, and subtract that from the 125. So let's see how many people liked swimming. That's 30. How many people like tennis? Well, that's 50, just like how many people like red in that Key Stage 2 school. How many people like volleyball? Well, we can see that's not in 20 or 30, but that's halfway in between. So what's halfway in between 30 and 20? Well, that's 25. And then we'll come to hockey. And then we've got squash. And if we go along a bit, we can see that's about halfway again. So 15 people like squash because halfway between 20 and 10 is 15. And we need to add all of these values together. So what's 30 add 50? That's 80. And then what's 25 add 15? Well, 25 add 10 is 35, add the 5 is 40. So we need to do 80 add 40, which I think we can all do. That's 120. And we need to subtract that from 125. Well, we don't need to do anything on our sheet for that. We can just do 125, subtract 120, that's 5. So 5 people liked hockey. And I'm just going to use a little square here and draw in the hockey. That will be in between 0 and 10 because halfway between 0 and 10 is 5. Okay, so we also have another question. What is the range? Well, what's the highest bar? That's right, it's tennis. And what's the lowest? Hockey. So how many people like tennis? 50. And how many people like hockey? Well, we just worked that out, it's 5. So what's 50 subtract 5? 45. So I'll just write in a different colour because this might be a little bit confusing. 45 is the range. So it's as simple as that. So let me just clear all my drawings. Now we're going to look at pictograms. So this one is all about pizza toppings, which I love. So we've got some pizza toppings and we have the number of sales. So Cheesy Delight Pizzeria records how many pizzas they deliver in one afternoon. So we have a key here, meaning that one sort of pizza picture is 12 pizzas. And it's asking us what's the range? And the next day, the pizzeria sales double. What's the range now? So if we have a look, let's just analyze this piece of data. So we've got pizza toppings and we have the number of sales. The pizza toppings are pepperoni, cheese, tuna, and veggie. And one pizza equals 12 pizzas in real life. So let's have a look. Which topping has the most amount of pizzas? Well, it's veggie. And then which topping has the least? It's tuna, because that only has 2.5 pizzas. So obviously going to use these two to work out the range. So we know that one pizza is 12, but what would half a pizza be? What would half a pizza be? That would just be half of 12, which is 6. That's 6, and that would be 12, which is 18. So that's our lowest number of cells. And then we have veggies, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pizzas, which is 12 times 4, which is 48. And then we have 3/4 of a pizza. So what's 3/4 of 12? Well, 1/4 would be 3, so 3/4 would be 9. So we have to do 48 add 9, which is 57. So there was 57 veggie pizzas sold and only 18 tuna. So now we know what the highest number of sales is, what the lowest number of sales is. Let's do 57 subtract 18. Well, a way we can do this is we can do 57 subtract 20, which is 37, and then add 2, because it's not subtract 20, it's subtract 18. So that's 39. The next day, the pizzeria's sales double. So what's the range now? So this is actually a little bit of a trick question, because if we double the sales, we get 114. And if we double the sales here, that's 36. But we didn't need to do all of that work. We could have just doubled the range here. So 39 times 2, well, 30 times 2 is 60, 9 times 2 is 18, add that together is 78. So a lot of people would just try to double these and then they would subtract and then they would lose a whole minute. But if you just do 39 times 2, because you're just doubling the range because the cells double, then that'll be much easier, because some of you might be able to do this in your head. So you would save a lot of time. Okay. We're going to move on to tally marks, which is our last word problem. So Sam, the head of the book club, asked everyone what their favorite genre or type of books are. So he creates a tally chart. So we've got horror books, mystery books, sci-fi or science fiction books, and fantasy books. And we're going to add the frequencies into Sam's tally chart. But he forgets to record how many people like fantasy books. However, he remembers that the amount of people who like horror is triple the amount who like fantasy. So complete Sam's tally chart by recording how many people like fantasy and what is the range. So let's have a look at this first question now. The second question is all to do about the fantasy books, so we're not going to worry about the fantasy right now. So it's asking us to put in the frequencies. Well, all it means is count up how many votes there were. So we know that something like this with 4 vertical lines and one diagonal line means 5. So we've got 5, add 4, which is 9. We've got 5, 10, 15, 16, and 17. Got 5, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So we've done the first question. It's as simple as that. Let's look at the second part of the question now. So he forgets to record how many people like fantasy books. However, he remembers that the amount of people who like horror is triple the amount who like fantasy. So if we multiply the amount of people who like fantasy by 3, we should get 9. So we can do the inverse and we can do 9 divided by 3, which is 3. So only 3 people like fantasy. I just erase that there. Now let's check. So I'll do 3 lines. I'll write 3 there. So what's 3 times 3? 9. So we did that right. Okay. So thank you for watching this video. It was quite short, but I think range is quite a simple topic that might be a bit tricky at first, but once you've got it, you've really got it. So please make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell if you like this video, and also remember to click on the like button as well. And comment down any feedback below so that I can improve my content for you. Bye!